All right, so this is episode 3 of Oluswole, the podcast on a budget. I'm excited to welcome our guest, a fellow Houstonian, Mandarin speaker, and design expert, Jaxson. What's good?
Hey Timmy, how's it going?
Yeah, everything's good. I want to start off by saying you're the guy who does the artwork for Oluswole. I gave you a shout out in the last episode, but like the YouTube banner, the cover art, and the profile picture designs, like you did that. So big shout out to you and your talents.
Yeah, I was happy to help out. I mean, I just enjoy having like a project sometimes outside of school. I don't know. Seems kind of counterintuitive if you're busy, but like I don't know, kind of helps me focus on some things.
No, I agree with you. That's kind of why I started the podcast, because I've been listening to podcasts for a long time, and I enjoyed listening to them, and I thought, why not create something like that where I can, have my own content and put it out the way I want to. And it's kind of a nice way of like not doing schoolwork, especially in a pandemic kind of setting where, you're just kind of spending a lot of time by yourself. Like it's nice to have a busy project to do instead of like scrolling through IG or something like that.
Yeah, it just feels good to create something, especially if that like reaches a lot of people. But even if it doesn't, like, I don't know, it like gives you a really good focus for your time. And that's something I've always tried to find.
Yeah. And I'm not too concerned about, like you said, I'm more concerned about the content and just creating something. I'm not too concerned about how many people it reaches, although it would be nice if, it became popular. I'm not complaining. Definitely more popular than I expected as of right now. Like a lot of people are reposting, sharing, commenting.
Yeah,
they're excited. I'm surprised, but I'm pleasantly surprised. Big shout out to the listeners. Y'all are going crazy right now.
Yeah, engagement's looking pretty good.
Yeah, because for context, we're filming this on the day the first episode dropped officially. So there's a lot of like excitement right now. Just pretty cool. I met you when I was probably 10 years old, because we met in year 6, which is like 5th grade for people who are more accustomed to that system. And we, when you meet someone as a little kid, you don't ask them like, hey, what's your life story? Like, just tell me about yourself. You just kind of like grow up with them. And we weren't even friends when we met each other. Like, we kind of knew each other from year 6 to maybe year 9 or so, year 10, which is like 8th, 9th grade. And that's when we became friends. But before that, we were hanging out with different people anyway. So, like, yeah. So I just wanted to make sure you were born in, just to go through your, your background. Like, you were born in H-Town, right?
Yeah, I was born, well, I mean, just outside of Houston, just north of it, in the Woodlands.
Yeah.
So I think it's been since sort of like incorporated into the Houston metro area. So yeah, but both my parents are from Houston. Yeah, pretty strong connection there.
Oh, so you're the only one from the Woodlands? Or is it the whole family?
Yeah, well, my parents were living in the Woodlands because my dad had a job at the airport, the George Bush Intercontinental Airport. And the Woodlands was more convenient to get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they call it the Sugarland, Houston, Woodlands metropolitan area, right?
Yeah, because Houston's grown so much. It just sort of like absorbed, those each were like little towns in the area. But now it's part of one big thing.
Mm-hmm. Got you. And then you moved to Panama City Beach in Florida?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was 4, we went to Panama City Beach also for my dad's work. And so I went, like, basically my only memory of elementary school is there. At least the beginnings of it. And that's where we went back every year, every summer. So, I also have a pretty good connection with Panama City Beach. And that's the last place I lived before we went to Abu Dhabi.
Mm-hmm. So you must have been there for about maybe 4 or 5 years or something?
Yeah, 4 years, yeah.
So how was that like growing up in Florida? Because I've been to Florida, but I was a little kid when I went there. But as of late, I hear a lot of like crazy stuff coming out of Florida. Like we know the Florida Man.
Yeah, Florida Man.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the Panama City is in the north of Florida. It's in the Floridian Panhandle. And the Panhandle is like, I think they call it Floribama or something. Because it's a lot like Alabama, the deep South. The rest of Florida is different. I mean, it's so weird. Florida's a weird state, and it also, like, when it comes to politics, it's also divided like that pretty starkly. But like when you get down south, you start seeing different things. A lot of the Florida men, I think, are down south. You know, the Florida man on the news.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely like really southern, but a different kind of southern to Texan. I noticed Texan is like its own brand of southern.
I agree. And I kind of wanted to ask you about that, because obviously Texas, you know, is the most southern, it's the southernmost state in the U.S., right? At least I don't know how South Hawaii is, but at least in the 48 contiguous states, it's the most southern state. But Texas isn't really the South. I just want you to expand on that. Like, how does Texas South distinguish itself from Deep South, like Alabama, Florida, all of them?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, technically, geographically, the Deep South is those latter states that you mentioned. So Mississippi, Alabama, North Florida, culturally, North Florida, and like Louisiana, Arkansas. And Texas isn't considered in the Deep South, I believe, by some measures. There's some cultural differences, which I don't know if I can like condense down into any sort of like smart comment, but the accent is a little bit different, I've noticed. Deep Southern twang is different to Texan twang. And especially, so in Panama City was on the coast, that whole like beach lifestyle and stuff, you wouldn't get further inland. So, I mean, that's the only thing I'd be familiar with, like culturally, lifestyle wise. But yeah, there's some differences. I just can't put my finger on it. I haven't spent too much time in the U.S. over the past a decade, even, I guess. Honest.
Get you. Yeah, because the thing you said about the accent is interesting, because I grew up in Houston. I was there for 8 years, and the thing is, I didn't pick up. So I tell people I'm from Texas, and they say, "Oh, you don't have the accent," but there's such a wide range of accents, especially in a place like Houston, which is which is a little bit of a melting pot. Like, some people have that, you know, typical Southern twang. Some people just sound like typical, you know, standard. I don't want to say standard, but they have, you know, pretty Midwestern accents. And
yeah.
Do you notice any reason, like, because you're the history man when it comes to like the U.S. and stuff, like, do you know if there's any reason for that kind of like for that like unique blend of cultures and accents existing in Houston?
Oh, in Houston specifically? Well, I mean, America across the board, I mean, like, you know, its foundations are in a diverse mix of people. So the neutral American accent, which you alluded to, comes from that. Like, many of the world's accents, sort of like combining into one. But so I guess Houston could be like a microcosm of that. Hopefully that's the right word. Pretty sure it's the right word. But there's a lot of like, you have that sort of similar level of diversity in just one city. So it could probably come from something like that. As far as a twang, like, typically comes from a more rural setting. So a lot of people that you see come from like Texan cities will just speak like a neutral American, like you and me, I guess. Even though some people may find twang. I mean, and that's the thing. It's like, you know, some observations of like culture and accent can be subjective. You know, like, I can sound particularly Southern to some people. My dad, like, people have said my dad sounds really Southern. I don't really hear it that well, but yeah, I mean, it depends who you ask.
Yeah. There's definitely like a degree of, I guess, subjectivity when it comes to interpreting one's accent. So you kind of alluded to this in your intro, but you're a design man, whether it's making product or pamphlets for the school play, or I don't know, helping people with their websites, stuff like that. Like, just graphic design is right up your alley. And I know Kim showed you the ropes, right? But I'm not entirely sure if you would agree or not. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm just wondering, like, how did you get into this space? And then as a follow-up question, who helped you when you were like a beginner in this graphic design kind of world?
Yeah, I don't really even know. Like, sometimes I ask myself that because I don't consider myself an artistic person really at all. I mean, like, my mom was into art. It still is, but I mean, not like big time. Um, and I don't know. I think it came from like school productions and stuff, or like stuff that the school did that I would look at and be like, that could probably be a little bit better. Like, nothing. I'm not saying the school did things badly, but because I was at the school and like I knew a lot of teachers and stuff. Obviously, you've been there a while. Um, it was like natural to want to see things improved if they could be improved. So I mean, I tried my best. In the beginning, obviously, there probably wasn't much of an improvement, but basically, the people that I was helping, mostly teachers, started to appreciate that. And then, I mean, I was just glad to see people appreciating work that I was doing, and like, projects that I do, going to something bigger, that kind of thing. And like, that's the thing. Like I said, I don't really think I'm an artistic person, but I guess I can kind of learn my way around it. I'm definitely into sort of like brand identity and stuff. I think it's really important to build a brand. So as far as the school went, it was easy to improve some of their things. You could just polish off their image, which I guess I'm good at, but had to learn how to do that through graphic design myself. I mean, YouTube was a big help. I don't think there was a person apart from Kim, like you said, who really taught me. But yeah, just like step by step on YouTube, the internet, etc.
I get you. And you said, right, you were out there making stuff for the school. I'm not trying to throw shade, right? Obviously, the school's a great school, all of that. But you made some really professional looking stuff, like some high level, stuff for like teachers were coming up to you, asking you to make stuff for them. Like, that's how good you were. And the stuff you were churning out was high quality. Do you ever feel like you were slighted because you were never compensated for the work that you did?
I mean, not really. I mean, I saw the I mean, the way I see it, like, I did get compensated through things like recognition and, people appreciating what I did. I mean, obviously that's not why I did it. Like, I didn't help the school out so that everyone would thank me or, like, talk about how great I am at what I did. And if they did that, then that's great. And I thank them for their compliments. But it's like, I just wanted to see what I was doing go somewhere. And that was probably the easiest avenue for that. And that was rewarding in and of itself. And I've talked about this with certain people, even like teachers before. And I don't know. I mean, like, obviously money would have been great. I'm not like, man, I should have been paid for all that, because I didn't really think about that at all as like an option, especially in the beginning.
You could have been balling.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's what some teachers have said even, but that's not really my intention. And I was just glad that the work went somewhere and helped people and, polish things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is there a particular piece of work that you produce that you're the most proud of?
I don't even, some of the video stuff I did towards the end of, or I don't even remember what year it was in now, either year 12 or 13. Some of the video stuff I did was, I'm proud of, because it's harder, I think, and it's like harder to work through those softwares and Premiere Pro, and it took a long time. And also filming, like, yeah, the stuff that you were involved in, the Mandarin video that we did for Cobus.
Yeah.
Like those videos, that series of videos was, a big learning experience, and it came out pretty good in the end, I thought. So I'm pretty proud of that.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah, you were out there. That was year 12/11th grade. Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the end of the year. I remember that. Good memories. Yeah. Speaking of Mandarin, are you still keeping up with that this semester, or is that just a
Yeah.
last semester thing? Okay.
Yeah, no, so to graduate, I need to be proficient in a language. And I was obviously, in terms of progression, furthest along in Mandarin. So I chose Mandarin coming into Georgetown. I was able, fortunately, to go straight into third level Chinese, is what it's called. And so there's basically part one and part two of that. And I'm in part two this semester. So I did part one last semester. So I had to do it this semester, basically. And after this, I can either take the proficiency exam and just, I'm pretty sure I'm done with it after that. I'm proficient. Or I can do a like specialist Chinese course. I heard some people say they have like Chinese in business type thing, which sounds pretty high level and tricky. I mean, it's pretty hard as it is this semester, I have to admit.
Yeah, we have that at Penn. I didn't take it, but I saw the course and I'm like, whew, that looks hard.
Yeah, it's a lot because it's the whole class is in Chinese, and I mean that alone is just some like your brain's in overdrive the whole time, just trying to understand what's going on, let alone process what we're supposed to be learning. So
yeah. Do you feel like, I'm not trying to make this the school podcast or the pandemic podcast, but just since we're already on the topic of learning Mandarin, do you feel like, because for context, right, we both took A-level Mandarin, which is probably the most intense class you can take. There might be harder classes in terms of difficulty and like understanding concepts. In terms of like workload intensity, it's probably number one, at least out of all the subjects our school offers. So my question is, did that experience prepare you for learning Mandarin at a higher level at Georgetown?
yeah, for sure. I'd say that even across the board. I mean, in Mandarin specifically, I found that like last year, a lot of the topics were almost identical. Even the progression of topics was almost identical to A-level Chinese, A-level Mandarin. So, I mean, that obviously helped because that transfers basically 1-to-1. Now we're deviating a bit from what we did in A-level, but I can still use some of the concepts that we learned. The only thing is we didn't really dive in that much to like conversational Chinese. And if we did, that probably would have helped me like just navigate myself around the class and stuff, and just speak, because there's a big emphasis on speaking in these classes at Georgetown, like a huge one. Like the whole point of class, and then we have like a discussion, like recitation, is just to speak a lot. So I mean that wasn't really supported that much by A-level, but certainly content-wise, A-level helped me a lot.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Yeah, it would be nice if there was more of a, even though we weren't a fan of the speaking exams, if we could learn a bit of like conversational Chinese. I mean, that would definitely be.
Yeah, I mean,
mission.
you made a good. I mean, like just quickly, the speaking exams, they have to be done and they're hard. But I mean, I feel like I learned so much from the exams, as nervous as they make me. Like I don't think I get more nervous for anything. But yeah, it's definitely a big learning experience through them.
Now you got ice water in your veins. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go. Let us see it. Yeah. So I remember earlier you were talking about the importance of having a strong brand identity, right? And on the topic of brands, you have an interest in, high fashion, am I correct? Like there's some clothes, you're very well versed when it comes to what's in and what's not in, right?
I feel like kind of, yeah. I mean, definitely not the best most well versed. I don't know how you would say that. But I mean, I have a respect for it. I don't have like the finances to back up a lifestyle that would revolve around that necessarily. Like, to its full extent, but like, I mean, I appreciate it definitely.
Yeah. What's in right now, in your opinion? Which
brands
are in?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I don't know if I can answer that, but I mean, there's definitely a lot out there on social media that can help you answer that question.
But here's the thing though, because I don't really I'm not a drip lord myself, right? I just kind of wear whatever I like, and if it's nice, it's nice. But the thing about social media is that I feel like I want my drip to be authentic, and I want to stay true to myself. So I don't want to necessarily look at someone else and say I want to dress like them. I just want to. I don't mind taking inspiration from other people's drip, but I want to make it my own thing. So that's why I probably wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
Nothing
I mean
wrong with it, though.
That's a similar philosophy to what I mean. That's why I can't really answer your question, is because I don't really like go out of my way to keep up with what everyone else is wearing, or like expect other people to wear. You know what I mean? Like wants other people to wear, or how what all those people are wearing should dictate what I wear. I'm not trying to say like I'm quirky and different and stuff, but I just like, you know what I mean? I just like where it has to be comfortable, like apt for the setting, things like that. Apt. I wear like a pretty set range of clothes, and it's not really affected by what other people are wearing either. I mean, maybe inspired sometimes, but not overtly like, just trying to be like them or other people.
Got you. So you were born in 2003. Yeah, I just exposed you. Yeah. Just exposes your age. Caught you in 4K.
Yeah. In 4K.
In 4K. More like 480p. But
yeah, that's probably what this camera's running me at.
Yeah. So for context, right? If you're in our graduating class, most people in our graduating class are born 2002 or 2001. I was born 2002. So you're always the youngest kid in the room, like always, and you get hounded for it. How do you feel like that experience, like always being the youngest, has like made you change your behavior? As in, like, has it forced you to maybe like grow up faster or change your mindset when you're in certain situations, or is it just like normal for you?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's certainly normal. I forget about it most of the time. And that's why, like, sometimes it's kind of sucks sometimes, like, because I worry people will think of me differently if they know I'm, like, some cases, like, 2 years younger than them, or, like, a year and a half, which isn't really a big deal. But, like, you don't know if they're going to make it a big deal. Or, like, I don't know. It just, I get worried that it'll, like, change the dynamic or something, and it's not something I want to worry about. So typically I don't bring it up or like talk about it overtly. But across the board, it really hasn't affected me that much. I think, I don't know what it would have been like otherwise. I mean, I'd still be in, actually, I don't know where I'd be right now if I was in the year below, because that would have changed everything. And there's a whole set of
vices.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a whole set of like implications that go along with that because of decisions that my family and I have made, where we are in a certain time period based on my grade and graduation and stuff like that. So it would have changed everything. So I'm really happy to be where I am right now. I don't know if it accelerated like my growing up process, but I feel like pretty much the same as everyone else in my graduating class. And well, I'm definitely glad to have been in our graduating class for sure. So.
Class of 2020.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah,
good one. We were the greatest graduating class in our school's history. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's not even a bold statement, because our school has only had like 5 graduating classes. Mm-hmm. And we were number 5. And I think class of 2018 was tough as well. I'll give them props, but class.
You had Demi on here in episode 1. So how does she feel about this though? How does she feel about that statement?
She probably disagrees, but I told her this, and I'm sure some teachers would agree. Like, our cohort was something special, I mean, we made history for the right reasons. Yeah,
it was a crazy year, though. It was a pretty wild situation to graduate in.
Yeah, pretty turbulent. Just not knowing, just being sat at home, not knowing if you're going to go to school again, thinking you're going to go to school again, thinking you're going to do exams, thinking you're going to have graduation, thinking you're going to have prom. None of those things happened.
Yeah, they slowly, that was the thing. It's like there was a slow progression of stuff just not happening, and a bunch of letdowns. In many cases, letdowns. I mean, I guess not doing exams wasn't a letdown, but just how it pans out, even until now, just a series of crazy announcements and stuff.
A series of unfortunate events.
Mm-hmm.
You know the series?
Yeah,
It's,
I think I read all of those books a long time ago, and there's like 13.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
I read most of them. Not all, but I think I read most. Good books.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you were talking about being the youngest person in, you know, our graduating class, it kind of reminded me, like, there's a big difference between age and grade. Like, age is really just a number. Like, if you're always surrounded by people who are older, you're just going to be perceived as one of those people. You're not going to be perceived as someone who's, like, born 2003. Because, yeah, even though people made fun of your age, no one really cared. Like, I don't think anyone treated you differently. And we're like, oh, Jaxson's 17, we're all 18. Oh, that's so cute. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like jokingly.
Yeah, let me squeeze his cheeks. Like,
yeah, I mean, I think you did do that though. Like that exact action. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. So you're in Texas right now. Kind of a full circle moment. Even though it's not the same city, we can call it like a 99.5% circle. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you like? What is a day in Jaxson's life look like?
Oh, I mean, not very much. I guess like I'm in the San Antonio area, and I have a job, thankfully.
Yes, sir.
Which is good because that gives me something to do. Like the average day is pretty empty. I just like go to class on Zoom and stuff, like do assignments. I don't really go outside that much. I mean, like I try to cycle to a park down the street sometimes if the weather's okay, which I could probably do more now that it's warming up. But yeah, between school and work, there's not a whole lot of opportunity to get out. I mean, work, I just like, it's good because you can interact with the community. Like a lot of people, and there's like a lot of different types of people that show up at HEB. I work at HEB, by the way. And, which is a supermarket chain in Texas, for those that don't know. And yeah, just the range of people that show up there is pretty crazy. You get to know the other people that work there, but like nothing, you see them for like a few hours for me on the weekend. So it's like, it's hard to build like close ties to anyone, which is why I'm looking forward to something different, getting to campus in Washington, Georgetown's campus.
Yeah. Do you think they'll let you back on campus first semester?
I'm pretty sure. Like, I mean, freshmen have an optional program that they can go to in the summer, which I am like 95% sure I'm going to, which is just in June. And it's kind of like a summer semester, but there's an emphasis on like social interaction because obviously like that's pretty much the biggest thing that we've missed out this past year.
For sure.
So, yeah, it's kind of just like a social event, and you take classes on the side, like a few credit hours worth of classes, so not much, which I think I'm going to there. And as far as fall 2021, that would suggest good news for fall 2021, but obviously the number of people will be a lot higher, but I'm pretty sure it'll be okay with vaccination and stuff like that. But then, yeah. So.
Yeah, things are looking up at the moment. Hopefully that trend continues. This kind of links to so we're not in the Oluswole Bowl section yet. The Oluswole Bowl is when I ask you some questions that are kind of, they're kind of unrelated, but sometimes kind of related to the content you were talking about. They're just kind of quick fire questions, but we're not there yet. It's just something you said about Texas reminded me of Texas food. And as a, Houstonian, we can probably say that Texas has the best selection of, meats and burgers and all of America. There's just great food and great food variety in Texas in general. In a place like San Antonio, I mean, you're not in San Antonio, but you're nearby.
Yeah.
In that kind of area, like, are there any particularly good food chains that you would recommend?
Oh yeah, I'm pretty. I mean, I'm certain that there's lots of good like food places because they have a show called Texas Eats on the local ABC affiliate here, KSAT, and yeah, pretty sure it's on KSAT. But anyway, like it's like a Guy Fieri type thing. He just like goes to well-reviewed places and tries their food, and then like says the same positive comment after every bite. But there's definitely like some good places out there, but I haven't been able to go to a lot of them. It's like my parents just got vaccinated, and that was a big concern as far as like dining goes. I guess we could have had takeout, but it's sometimes, I don't know, inconvenient waiting and stuff, calling. So I'll definitely need to try some of them out before I leave. As far as like fast food places go, you have the basic like Chick-fil-A everyone talks about. It deserves pretty much all the hype. And I tried Chipotle for like the first time a few months ago. It's pretty good.
Whoa, first time?
Yeah, I'd never had it before that.
Where have you been, bro?
I mean, I don't really know why that was my first time. I don't think there were any near where I had been going every summer in Florida. There might be now. And then I just didn't get it when we traveled to Texas. So, but yeah, that's definitely pretty good. There's probably others I'm missing out, but those are the ones that stand out.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Chipotle
Cane's, Raising Cane's. Yeah.
I honestly, I think I've only been to Raising Cane's once.
In the US?
Yeah, probably only once.
Mm-hmm.
Chipotle I've been to quite a few times. Would highly recommend, obviously. But the thing you said about Guy Fieri and how he makes that the same comment after visiting every chain.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Guy Fieri on TV when I was like 11 or 12, and I was like, this dude just goes around, travels, tries food, and says like, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's no way they're all really good. You know what I mean? There's got to be one where he just like didn't like what, you know?
But the thing is, the food looks good, and he goes to like highly well-regarded places. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah,
why I think. So I think he's genuine, but it looks like such a cool job, like going around places and trying their food.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, how much is he actually doing? Because he's watching them make it. You know what I mean? Like, he's not. Sometimes he's involved in like, you know, giving them some spice or something, but like he's watching them make it, and then he's eating it, and just like, oh wow, that's so good, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Shouts them out on the air. That's
It's good. It's good publicity, you know, for the business.
Yeah. That's probably all the show is, like, you know, just, I mean, that's really all it is, like, it just shows off places around the country that are good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you mentioned Chick-fil-A. That's also a vibe. One of the best chicken establishments out here.
Yeah, they move fast. I mean, like, their efficiency is crazy. I don't know what it's like, or if you've had it up north. The north tends to...
North Texas or north of the U.S.?
In the U.S.
Yeah, I've had it in Philly.
Yeah, I don't know what it's like up there. But here, you'll show up to like a Chick-fil-A. You're going to drive through. And the line is like, there's a double line, 2 lanes wrapped around the whole store. But you get through it in like 5 minutes or less than 5 minutes. Because they're just, I don't know how they do that. But it's pretty cool.
I do remember, because there's a Chick-fil-A near Jaxson's campus. And I went walking there with some people like 2 weeks ago. And they were pretty quick, and there are quite a few people waiting for food. So, yeah, shout out to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
y'all trying to do a brand deal with Oluswole. I am all ears. Trying to get that sponsorship cash. You know the vibes.
Yeah.
Now we're moving on to the Oluswole Bowl, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Now it's time for the Oluswole Bowl. So for the Oluswole Bowl, you should be, dog. So for the Oluswole Bowl, what we do is we ask you some questions that, you know, kind of related to what we're talking about, or just some random questions out of the blue. Just want to hear your opinions on certain things. So first one is music. Which artists have you been bumping lately? Like if you go to your Spotify on repeat playlist, what am I going to see?
I don't. Wait, let's see. I mean, let me see what I've added recently. I don't like tend to any particular artist. I mean, I like Post Malone and the Weeknd. It sounds pretty basic, but I mean they're popular for a reason. You know, I like
Sure.
their stuff. I think I don't know. I mean, the Kid Leroy's also pretty good. We've talked about this, Timmy.
Yeah, we have.
He's made some big leaps.
He's a hit maker
since the start of 2020. Yeah.
It's crazy because he's only 17.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's younger than me. And that's a big deal.
Yeah, he's like 5 months younger than you. It's crazy, and he's that good at that young of an age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's pretty talented, I think. I mean, but there's like everything else is sort of in terms of my like music taste, just a lot of different stuff, genres and things like that. You know,
country, being in Texas and all that.
Not really. I mean, I don't get why people hate on country that much. I guess like it doesn't change much over time, which I can understand. It's pretty traditional, so it has a hard time adapting to like new sounds. But I'm not a country hater like a lot of people are.
Yeah, I don't listen to country, but I have nothing against it. You brought up The Weeknd, who is one of my favorite artists and one of the greatest artists of our generation. Should have been Grammy nominated, but that's neither here nor there.
I mean, like numbers wise, he's the biggest artist in the world right now. Has been for like pretty much the past year. Yeah, I don't know what happened with the Grammys. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's kind of sus.
Yeah, something going on there. I don't know.
Like, obviously, it's not all about numbers, but if you're putting out numbers that are historically good, and it's not just that, your music is also critically acclaimed. Like,
yeah, exactly.
The so-called music experts, not so-called, but you know, it's hard to say who's an expert on music, but the people who are well established in the music industry who critique music looked at After Hours, his most recent project, and they said, hey, this is really good. And obviously it was really popular, so I don't understand why it didn't get any attention.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of weird. I don't really know what went on, but something, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have the answers. But he was top 5 in my Spotify Wrapped. Yeah, in 2020, The Weeknd.
Yeah, I think he could have been in mine too. I don't remember my Wrapped. But, yeah.
So it wasn't too memorable, huh?
Yeah, well, I guess not. I mean, I don't listen to a lot of music. I mean, I know some people walk around with like AirPods in all day, or like when they're in their room, like have music playing all the time. I'm not like that at all. I mean, like I appreciate sometimes just like not silence, you know, like it's sometimes it's nice not to have something that you're listening to all the time. In my opinion, I mean, I guess that's just the way I am. I'm kind of like I mean, I'm an introverted person, obviously, I'd say, but yeah, I appreciate like just sort of like quiet space sometimes, especially when I'm working.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it depends. Like, it depends on the kind of work that I'm doing. Like, if it's really focused work, then I prefer to have silence. Not silence, but you know, a quiet space. But if it's just busy work, it doesn't require a lot of brain power. It just requires focus. Then I don't mind having some music in the background.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm designing stuff, then I'll listen to music. Because I guess, yeah, I don't really need to be that focused.
And then The Weeknd, on the topic of that, we actually saw him perform in Abu Dhabi for the F1 concerts. Yeah, that was a whole...
That was pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I think his concerts after this are going to be pretty big because, like, he had obviously a huge name for himself back then. I'm trying to think back into like a 2018 mindset. Like a lot of people knew who The Weeknd was. Basically, everyone knew who he was. But I mean, now he's reached like new depths of society, like transcended age groups and stuff. And the Super Bowl obviously exposed him to a lot of people that would have never heard of him before. So I feel like, you know, that just sort of like solidified his position as in terms of his like popularity and legacy and stuff. But yeah, on that concert, that was a legendary concert, I'd say. You know, to be able to see him in person, though, that's the thing. To think back and be like, you know, you saw that person in front of your eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty cool.
And one thing I appreciate about him is that he performed quite a few songs. He probably performed about 16 songs or so, and he sang like every word of the song. It wasn't like some other performers where they're just kind of playing the track in the background. They're just like, you know, dancing around. And they say two words.
Like, the end of the sentence or something, like the end of the line. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, he's definitely a good performer, I think. And you know, he goes pretty light on like auto tune and live, you know, reworkings of his voice. He's pretty raw, so he's definitely a talented guy.
For sure, yeah. His voice kind of reminds me of. I know this is a lofty comparison, and I'm sure it's been made before.
Lofty,
haha. I'm sure it's been made.
Episode 2 plug.
Episode 2 plug. You know the vibes. Go stream episode 2 if you haven't already. But yeah, it's kind of a lofty comparison, but his voice, it sounds similar to Michael Jackson's.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen people say that, especially some of his live performances. People in the comments have said that. I can't remember one in particular, but like, he like, I'm not a music guy, but the way he sings certain lines sounds pretty similar.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he drew inspiration from him, given the fact that The Weeknd makes pop. I mean, he's more of an R&B guy, but he does make pop music. So the king of pop, you know, it makes sense to draw inspiration.
I mean, I'd imagine a lot of people are inspired by Michael Jackson.
Yeah. I want to move on to the second Oluswole Bowl question. What are your top 3 shoe brands?
Oh, shoe brands? I think Nike is definitely number 1.
Yes, sir.
Not Nike, as like some people listening may think. Yeah.
Of course.
I think it's named after Greek. I'm pretty sure Greek, but a goddess of victory.
Yeah.
It's not Nike. See.
Of course. So I tried telling people, but
but no, they don't listen.
Are stubborn. Exactly.
I guess like Adidas is second, but I don't have any. I don't have any pairs of Adidas shoes. Converse is also nice, and Vans. So I don't know which takes third place. Actually, one of them might even take second. Like I don't really care after Nike. Like Nike's my go-to, and if they don't have something I'm into, or if another brand does something like really cool, then unless that happens, then I'm sticking with Nike. But
yeah, Nike is definitely my number 1 brand for sneakers or trainers, as you know, some people might say. I like Timberland boots. Okay. They go crazy. They go crazy. I copped a pair because it was snowing out here pretty badly in January, so I needed winter boots. And it's such the brown Timbs is such an iconic shoe. It's so New York and authentic. I like it.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
I don't have any of those. I mean, I don't have any Timbs. My mom picked up some Uggs for herself. I mean, I've never had Uggs. But apparently they're nice. Like, she was pretty happy about it.
That's cool. And the third Oluswole question, last but not least, what are your top 3 Texas burger places?
Okay. Does it have to be like a fast food place or a chain?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We can change it to fast food, just like fast food chains. That you see in Texas.
Well, I mean, I was gonna say there's this place in Houston I went to once, but I'm pretty sure it's not a chain. Bob's Burger Bus. I'm pretty sure. I mean, that sounds pretty American. I probably can't get more American than that name, but that was pretty good. I had that a long time ago though, in 2017. Okay, in terms of chains, I think Shake Shack's always number 1. There's a few Shake Shacks in the area, or in Texas. Yeah, actually, there's 2 in the San Antonio area. But yeah, Shake Shack's number 1. And then Five Guys is also pretty good, but I'm not big on their fries. They go crazy on the fries. I don't like the fries.
Come on, JD. Come on, JD.
Are you pushing back against that, Timmy?
Yeah, I'm pushing back. Fries go crazy.
No, the oil, or like the flavor of them is, I don't know. And they're not that crispy. Okay, yeah. But anyway, the burger's okay. The burger's pretty good. And then I've tried In-N-Out. I don't really like In-N-Out. I can see where Cali Burger in the UAE and wherever else Cali Burger is very heavily inspired by In-N-Out in terms of like what they're trying to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even some elements of their burger. But I don't like In-N-Out. I don't like Whataburger. Their burgers are very bad. I don't like Whataburger. I like their breakfast. That's about it.
I don't know how many times have I been to Whataburger. Maybe it's possible I've never been there, or maybe I've been there once. I can't really remember going to Whataburger. But yeah, In-N-Out is definitely a good option. Five Guys, I support that option as well. I'm trying to think of is there any other place that's kind of slept on? There's this one burger place in Houston, but I forgot the name. I forgot the name. I have to look it up.
Oh yeah. I mean, I forgot to say Freddy's. Freddy's is. Have you ever tried Freddy's?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they. I've tried them recently, like since I've been here, and they might take number 2 actually, and Five Guys number 3. Freddy's is pretty good.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, thanks JD for coming on the podcast. I think that marks the end of this week's episode of Oluswole. I really appreciate you helping out with the artwork once again. Taking time out of your day to come on the podcast means a lot. And, wish you the best in the future. And yeah, do you have anything you want to say to the audience as like a closing statement?
Oh, not really. Just like, yeah, not a problem. I'm glad to be part of the podcast, part of something. Glad to help you out. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on. This is a pretty good experience. First time on a podcast. Yeah. Hopefully we,
legendary.
We grow. I mean,
Yes,
you grow.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Oluswole, available on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. And if you're watching this on YouTube, our socials are linked in the description. Peace.